everybody. Welcome to the Just Enough Heshy Show. As Mr. Tischler was kind of adjusting his Instagram there, so I figured I'd steal his thunder and say hello and good evening,
Wow, I can't believe. Usually I say hello, but that's good. You did it very good, just like me. Hello,
You should hear me when I
Instagram
do
fans.
wrestling, Heshy.
I should do wrestling. I want to welcome all my YouTube and Instagram and Facebook fans. And, of course, Tom, welcome back to the show. How are you this week?
I'm doing great.
Now, you Instagram fans, you can't see Devorah. She's here, but she's quiet anyway, so nobody really knows. But YouTube and Instagram and all you radio people who don't have a television, which radio stations will be joining us in a few minutes?
620, my favorite, WSNR, 93.5 FM, WVIP, and, of course, 1640 AM, WJPR. And I know our very good friend, Mr. Anthony Finkel, is tuning in, listening to us on FM. He was trying, and he's going to also try AM to see if we're live as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. And, of course, we have Devorah back. Devorah, how are you?
Good.
So you got to talk into the mic, Devorah, because I can't hear you, a word you're saying. But, Devorah, welcome back. We missed you over the last 2 weeks. I know you weren't feeling well. Are you feeling better now?
I'm doing better.
And how were the holidays?
Great.
And you look wonderful and fantastic. And, of course, you came with no notes again, which means we have no idea what you're going to talk about.
Sounds like live radio every week on this
Exactly. My dear friends, I want to wish all of you, and most of you know, it was a Jewish holiday of the New Year. And, you know, I was at a protest for the migrants, and when I made my video, even my introduction video today, you have to apologize before Rosh Hashanah. You have to ask for forgiveness to the people you injured and hurt, and before my regular, all those thousands of listeners come out from the video, I want to apologize to all of you. Not what I've done for you, but I am part of the system. I am part of the greed of the city of New York that these people, these vicious politicians, bad people. So we are greedy, and that's why greed is ruining this city.
Yep.
You know, today, for example, I had to do an inspection. I met a Chinese inspector. He won't tell me his name. He won't tell me his name. He only his badge number. You can't say, hi, Mr. Badge Number. So I said to China, and I wasn't talking to him. I was talking to my guy, who's an Indian guy. I said, the Chinese inspector, he gets out of the car. You call me Chinese? And I have it on video. And he tells me I can't video him. He's a public official. I couldn't. And he got in his car and he consulted and he left, and it took us 2 months to get this inspection. And nobody in the building department picks up their phone today. These people are corrupt. They don't care about you. They hate you. They let you lose millions and millions of dollars. It doesn't work, and nobody's making any changes. No. And you know what? And we're going to say this when people come on. I'm watching videos, and Devorah, I want you to hear this. I see the governor get on stage, lifts up a mask and says, here's your friend, the mask. And COVID, if you don't know it, it's coming back.
Oh, we said it here in the summer. I remember we were the first people, Heshy, that spoke about it's coming, and we're now getting into fall and winter.
We're not saying COVID is coming back. We're saying they're bringing it back. They're even saying that post-pandemic, that means after pandemic, it's a new high of COVID. Does anybody really know anybody that had COVID? Really? Does anybody know that? Send us a message. And what's the phone number that they can call into the show?
646-974-1580. That is 646-974-1580.
We'll repeat that number in about a minute.
Yes.
But if you know anybody that has COVID, tell me. I would like to go visit him, okay? Because I want to catch COVID, because I can't get COVID. I don't know what COVID is. I don't know what it feels like. I'm telling you, it doesn't exist. Please, somebody, give me COVID. Devorah, can you give me COVID?
I didn't get COVID.
You didn't get COVID?
No, you didn't. No.
You got a little...
Just a sore throat.
No, that could be COVID, right? Doesn't everything COVID today?
I tested.
I know people die and they get COVID. I know. They get COVID after they die. You know?
Well, we'll find out maybe in the next 55 minutes or so.
I know. Okay. Anyways, again, everybody, I want to just tell you that next week, Monday, is the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. You know that?
Yes.
And by the way, while all of you people were having 2 days off, not all of you, because I have a lot of Gentile people that are not Jewish or not religious, didn't hold the holiday. Me and Linda did not just sit at home and eat cookies and honey cake and dip our challah in the honey. We went to prayers. We went to visit the sick. We went to the hospital. We went to visit other people. And I even went to visit my favorite Holocaust survivor who fed me wonderful. She made these wonderful cooked potatoes.
Oh, wow.
I have a potato joke. That's how I remember the joke.
Not Mr. Potato Head?
No. It's a very cool potato joke. It really happened to me. So I want you to have a good time. So I went there and she made these potatoes with some gravy on it. And I'm on a diet. And I just couldn't stop eating it. Anyways, Welcome to the listeners from which stations?
620 WSNR, 1640 AM WJPR, and 93.5 FM WVIP, as in VIP, the old Pamela Anderson show.
And what number? And I hope they don't put
And
the
Anthony
Heshy
Finkel
Tishler.
just wants to tell
I
us
hope they
right
don't
now.
put the Heshy Tishler sign up and block our face every week.
Heshy, just want to tell you, Anthony Finkel is actually listening to us live on 620.
Beautiful.
He's actually tuned
I
in.
hope it- And what's our phone number to call into the show?
646-974-1580.
I hope they post it on the screen.
Reminds me of that old song, 86753.
Yeah, I remember that song.
867-974-1580.
We're going to start our show now. Devorah, we want to give some shout outs to my granddaughter, Mira Nava.
Oh.
Say it.
Mira Nava, the best part of the show.
I know you like that. Layla Tamar and Yeshua, my grandson, and of course Sergeant Peter,
Sergeant Peter.
and Ellie. And in a couple of months, I can't officially say this to you because I'll get in trouble. There might be somebody else, another little thing that we will be giving a shout out. Yes, old Big H just keeps growing the family. By the way, you know my niece got engaged.
Yes.
Yeah. She found a nice boy, and we finally compromised. He doesn't have to be smart. He doesn't have to be educated. He just have to have a full head of hair. Come on, you girls, are you idiots? You're willing to just for the head of hair and for him to look good, whatever.
What was
Okay.
that old song? Was it Wore Long, Beautiful Hair? Was it
Well, I'm happy
That's
that
not
she
fair.
settled for anybody.
That's not fair.
You know that, or you don't like bald men. You know that. A bald man, I'll go out with him, but really, unless they shave the whole head and make believe they're like sexy bald, but it's a stupid thing altogether.
Was that the Bruce Willis look years ago? When Bruce Willis would shave his head for Die Hard?
Anyways, we're going to start our show. We're going to scream at Governor Hochul, that
Yes.
idiot who thinks pandemic is coming back. I will not wear a mask. I will let nobody around me wear a mask. And anybody who comes into my office, somebody showed me a funny cartoon today. You know, people who are in the car by themselves are wearing masks.
I have seen that myself.
So
I've
they may
seen
send
that.
me a funny picture of a guy wearing a seatbelt outside the car. You know, okay.
Well, we'll have to find out.
That means there's no car. You're just sitting with a seatbelt outside. Okay.
Well,
Kel.
don't give people
You gotta
ideas
go.
these days.
Anyways, here's my quote of the day.
Okay.
Things do not happen. Things are made to happen. It's our job to make things happen, to make changes. You want to sit there quietly and do nothing with your life? You want to think things will come to you that will just happen. You have to make it happen. And I want to tell you a story, Tom.
Yes. Tell me.
And during the Holocaust, there was a guy by the name of Rabbi Weiss. He's going with his fingers. I don't know what fingers mean. I don't care this phone. I'm telling a story. We'll
I
take
think we
the
have a
phone in
caller.
1 minute.
We have
Take
a
the caller. But just let me tell this story. Hello? Oh, okay. But I want to just tell this story quickly, caller.
Okay.
I want the caller to hear
Let
it.
the caller hold.
During the Holocaust, there was a guy by the name of Weiss, Rabbi Weiss.
Okay.
He was a young boy. He was about 14 years old, and they lived in a little village in Hungary. Very small village. No phones, no internet, no nothing, no telegraph. Maybe about 200 people in the whole town. I don't know. My headset's
I
going
think we're
crazy
getting
again.
the caller
What's he
to call
doing?
through.
I don't know. So, anyways, what happened was this guy lived in the town, and the Nazis showed up. Like about 10 Nazis showed up into the town. And they said, we took over the country, it's our town. In the town, 200 people said, we don't care. I mean, who are you? So they weren't sure what was going on. So they sent one of their kids, this guy, Avi Weiss, who was the most responsible. He didn't have a lot of kids. They said, I want you to go to the next big town and find out what's going on in the city. The kid gets on his little horse, a donkey, and he travels for 2 days, and he gets to the big city, and he goes to the synagogue. They take him to one of the big people and the community leaders, and he says, Nazis came to us. They said they run the country. They said, yeah, you have to be careful. They're going to kill everybody. You have to be careful. The Nazis have taken over the country. He says, but you know what? You're lucky you came to me. He says, the King of England has now told me that he's willing to save 1,100 children. Since you're by me, if you're here within the next 4 days, I'll put you on the boat to England and save your life. The kid runs back to town. He goes back and tells his parents the Nazis are very bad, and the parents knew they're going to die. So the kid says goodbye to his parents. He cries, and he goes back to the big town, and he gets on the boat with another 1,100 kids, and they go to England, and the King of England really, really did save 1,100 children.
Wow.
Now, when the King of England woke up one day, he says, I want to see these children I saved. So he gets in his car, his royal thing, and he starts driving, and they've lined up all the kids quietly. The king is coming to bow, and one kid jumped out of the crowd and jumped onto the king's parade. And take a guess who it was. Mr.
Rabbi
Avi Weiss. And Avi was, you don't jump at the king, and the guards are ready to jump him, and he says to them, leave him, I want to hear what he has to say. And the guy runs over to the king, you're so good, king, you saved all of us, but what about my parents? What about my parents? And the king says, you know what? Where are your parents? And he takes the information, and 2 weeks later, he saved the parents.
Wow.
Now, here's the moral of this story. You could have stood there like the other 1,100 kids and been quiet and said, okay, it happened. But this kid went and asked. This kid made things happen. He got his parents to survive. He got his parents to come. It doesn't hurt to change and make things happen. That's my story. That's my quote. Things do not happen. Things are made to happen. Go ahead. Before my joke, let's talk to the caller.
All right. Who do we
I
got?
want to that. Who do we have today on the phone?
Hi, Heshy. How are you? My name is Judah.
Hello, Judah. How are you?
Good. Hope everyone's doing well.
Yep.
Did you like my story about Avi Weiss, or you didn't hear it?
I
You
couldn't really
it's
hear
okay.
it because
It's no problem.
I'm on my
It's
phone. I
okay.
can't really watch it.
So what's on your mind?
What's up?
using the computer.
What's on your mind, Avi? I mean, Avi. Judah.
Judah, what's on your mind, Judah?
What's on your mind, Judah?
Did you see what happened last night at the Utrecht train station in Borough Park?
I can't hear. What is it?
The D train in Borough Park, correct?
Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, an immigrant hit somebody with a wrench, tried to mug him, and then a black lady was screaming for help, and then some guys on the street, some Jews were running to chase the guy, and then Shomer got involved, and they ended up catching him.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like,
I want to tell you, I was
crazy.
going to talk about this. The migrants are committing more crimes right now than ever before. You think they're all straight and innocent? They're not. They're driving illegal bikes. You should see them on videos. I don't even know how they have the money to get these illegal moped bikes. They're coming here broke. So basically, they're coming with money and drugs and fentanyl. They're committing crimes. They're abusing women, and they're doing sexual molesting. They're committing crimes on trains. They're pushing people in the trains.
We talked about that last week.
Okay,
on the show,
so you think that 100,000 new people coming to this city is all beautiful and pretty? Look how we're talking about it. They are committing crimes. Maybe not all of them, and a lot of them are criminals from the other countries. We haven't vetted them. We don't know who they
And
are.
we want to give them work permits?
Work permits faster than a regular guy. And regular people, if they do anything wrong, who are trying to become citizens, get deported right away.
And we want to just get them in here,
Yeah.
and we want to just give them work permits as
Yeah.
if it's like candy.
Anyways, while we're being serious, I want to say a joke to you guys. Can I tell you a joke? Devo, can you want to hear my joke?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my joke. I raised a large family, okay, and I cook a lot of things, but when I cook it for battalion-sized kind of batches, because I have 5 people, 15 people, 20 people sometimes, so it's always done. So in my newly married son, Moshe, he said he requested a copy of my chicken cutlet French fry, recipe, because I make the chicken cutlets with special spices and the way I dip it with the margarine and all that, and so I told him how much to put in. So, I experimented for 2 weeks how to make it, my batches, my little recipes for like 2 people because they're a newlywed couple.
Absolutely. Sure.
Anyways, Moshe calls me back about 2 weeks later. He says, thanks for the recipe, Pop, but it took me a couple of weeks to figure out how to triple your dosage because I wanted to make leftovers. So I showed him how to reduce it, and he tripped. Okay, whatever. It was a funny joke. Here's a real good joke. I was sitting in a restaurant, okay, and I met this great waitress. I mean, you're talking a waitress that really shocked me. I'm sitting there, and the potatoes she gave me, and I usually don't
You
complain.
and the potatoes this week.
I know that, but that's why I want to tell you the potato joke. The potato was ugly and disgusting and was bad. So I called over the waitress. I said, waitress, this is a bad potato. Can't you see it? And she picks up the potato, hits the potato, and says, sir, if the potato causes you any more trouble, let me know. I just sat there. I was so happy that she did that. I didn't eat the potato. And I didn't ask for a new potato. But that was cool that she did it. It was so cute the way she did it. Anyways, let's start our show. Okay. I want to ask you a question. And Devoa, you do know that Governor Hochul is it's on my video. And people say, Heshy, you're lying. She gets on, and I posted it on the video. She stood there and said, here is your friend Damask. Here's your friend Damask.
Yep.
And COVID is coming back and is back. I mean, guys, really? I mean, Is it back? I mean, do you know if it's back, Tom?
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because I had a statement for this because you talk about the fact that they're basically trying to bring back masks and vaccines. Biden wants funding from Congress, but on the heels of this, the governor signed legislation that basically allows for anybody in the state of New York, any voter, at any way they want, to request an absentee ballot. So here we go. We're going back to no-fault voting just in time, Heshy, by the way, for the 2024 presidential election.
And also for the 2023 November election. I mean, this is wrong. There is no pandemic. Nobody's sick. And let me tell you why they're playing this game. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why.
Tell me why.
We have no money in the city. We are $20 billion over the old budget. There's no money.
And that's with the 5% cuts they want
Correct,
to do.
with 15% cuts. But they're not going to, that's what he said, 15% of cuts
He's
across
saying
the
5
board.
now, but it could be
I heard it was
15,
15.
yeah.
Anyways, so here's my question to you.
Sure.
The reason he's doing this because there's no revenue. People are not coming to the city. People are leaving the city. We're not getting residents or
Oh, for
visitors.
sale signs. I was talking to Anthony Finkel on Sunday. He's like, I'm getting out of here next year. When are you getting out? I'm like, well, ask me in 18 months from now.
But
you
it's
know?
just crazy. So what he needs to do, the city council made a meeting and said, Mr. Mayor, raise revenue.
Yep.
How does the mayor raise revenue? The man is an idiot, doesn't know business, never ran a business. The only way he can raise revenue is by taxing us, fining us, and punishing us. So everybody understand one thing, that we have to raise billions of dollars. So now with this new COVID, you forgot.
See, that's where you're going.
COVID has billions of dollars for it. So if we bring COVID back to New York City gets billions of dollars.
Federal funding, which
Yeah.
they can use to offset all these
For the
migrants
migrant,
they're bringing
exactly.
in. And on top of that, the fees that they'll incur for more mask mandates,
Right.
fines for businesses,
Right.
all that stuff's going to also generate more
Right.
money to the city's coffers.
Just alone, Borough Park and Flatbush during the pandemic raised $51 million. Now you're going to say, wow, Heshy, that's nothing. $51 million in a 20 square block area. I don't want to talk about the rest of New York and the other fines and the other businesses and penalties for the building department. You're talking in the billions, not tens of billions. I think maybe there was like $1.2 billion in fines during COVID that was issued.
So where
That's
did all
what I
that
heard.
money go?
We don't know. We don't know. It goes to the city. It has to be paid to the city. Then it gets paid to the subcontractors and the lodges and the Georges and the extra. and by
We
the
got
way,
a Georgia in a campaign. It was another.
and inspectors get hazard pay, extra $2 per hour for working. Really, they get an extra $2 an hour for working during COVID, and they don't have to get out of the car, or they can work at home. As long as they're working, they get $2 an hour, even if they're home. It's just stupid what these people are doing. They're screwing us, and it doesn't end. I think there's 340-something thousand
But you know,
city
you
employees.
said this a while back.
Just by the way, I tried to call the building department today. After this inspector, who I said, you're Chinese, they wouldn't pick up the phone. The whole day, I swear to you, I want to show you my phone. I called the building department 71 times. I wrote it down. Not one time
But
did
you know,
they pick
you
up.
said something, though. This was even when I was just a listener. You had said that COVID will never end. You said, in your word, this had to have been almost 2 years ago. You said COVID will never end, and I think it's been proven. Everybody that said, COVID, you know, they're going to continue to use it, they're going to do this, and you know what? It's been proven true. Everybody that said, you're a demagogue, you're a liar, you're a dog whistler. Well, the facts are, Hochul wants more mandates, Biden wants funding for COVID.
And we never cleared up all the mandates either. We
No.
stopped them, but we never actually ended COVID completely in New York City.
Nope.
Right, DeVoe?
Well, let me say, I ride the subway and it's jam-packed. And people don't even cover their mouths when they cough. So I don't mind having masks on the subways.
People cough in the stores. People cough in your... How many people were in your synagogue on Rosh Hashanah? Packed? Did anybody cough? I'm sorry, did anybody wear a mask? Why are you being prejudiced, the trains? In your synagogue, and don't tell me your synagogue is mice and rat-free as well, because I'll walk into your synagogue and I'll show you holes and rats that run around there. I'll show you, do you know why some of the restaurants, the better restaurants, the food is very tasty? Because the mice stop by sometimes and they tenderize the food. I'm very serious. I once was helping in a store. You're gonna love this. I wake up very early. So there's a store that the workers, the owner couldn't make it. So I was next to the store. So he used to give me the key. He says, Heshy, can you open up for the workers and they come in and light the fire for me? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And I used to come a little early for 2 minutes. I opened the store. I opened the lights. I let his workers in because I'm trustworthy, and I had to light the fire. The way it is, kosher food can only be cooked by a Jewish fire.
Okay.
Anyway, so I lit the fire, and as I turn on the lights, boom, like 30 mice are standing in the middle, dancing around me, saying, "Good morning, Heshy. How are you? We're ready to go. Thanks for you letting us out." I was like in shock.
That reminds me.
And I spoke to the guy. The guy says, "Yeah, we have a cat. We have exterminators, but they come from all." He says, "Every restaurant has this." I want you to know, guys, every restaurant has this. You have to be careful. You have to lock up the food. You have to be careful. But don't think for a moment when you're eating those restaurants. I mean, mice are okay, I guess, because they're meaty, but the cockroaches I can't really deal with.
This so reminds me of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And by the way, Devora, you've got some boo birds already because Anthony Finkel and a few others were like, they don't agree with the mask on the trains.
Right.
And
nobody agrees with masks. You don't wear the masks in the churches, the synagogues. You don't wear the masks in the stores.
And that's why
but you want it on the train where they're coughing. I was sitting in synagogue. I swear if I didn't have 30 tissue boxes all over the place of people sneezing and coughing because of the air condition.
Do they ride the subway?
What?
Do they ride the subway?
They must have not. They must have rid the
The
subway.
subway is jammed packed.
And so was my
There are people
synagogue,
on
where they
top
had
of you.
500 people in my synagogue.
But the problem with the
Packed
government,
jam.
is, Heshy, when you say mask in the subway, they'll make it everywhere. They'll mandate it
Right.
again, where we'll
Right.
be in malls and having it again, and sporting events.
If
and all
you
these
want to
other
wear a
places.
mask, go ahead. You want to be stupid and wear a mask, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. You want to dance naked on the street? Yeah, we would stop you. I don't think that's normal. But
No, I want people to cover their mouth when they cough.
No, yeah, that I agree.
and people do, but sometimes they forget. And what about everybody covers
talking
their
about
mouth.
the subway
How
people
about little
clip their
kids? How
nails
about little
all the
kids?
time.
How about little kids when they cough? How about all those homeless people that take leaks when you're not looking or sleeping in the subway? You know how many times I go in the subway, there are homeless people. You know why I'm upset about the migrants? Everybody says to me, "Heshy, what do you care about
And
the
you were
migrants?"
there on Floyd Benefield, Marine
I
Park.
was in Floyd Benefield. If you would have watched my video, we had a protest with Curtis Lewa.
Yep.
But I want to ask you a question. Heshy and all of you, what do we care about the migrants? Screw the migrants. Put them in Floyd Benefield. Put them in shelters.
in Queens,
lock them up
Staten Island,
in fake shelters. Leave us alone. Let me explain to you something.
Okay.
They're putting 4,000 migrants in Floyd Benefield. And it's a field. You understand?
Yep.
It's an open field. So where do you put them? You're putting them in tents and these fake new little buildings.
And an
that you're
area
building.
near nothing.
Right.
An area near
no
nothing.
bathrooms, no showers, no nothing. So now here's the deal. How do they go to the bathroom? Yeah, we're going to bring porta potties. Did you ever go sit in a porta potty? It's dirty, filthy. They only clean it once a week. It smells. Even if they clean it every day, you have 50
It's
different
disgusting.
people that's
Disgusting.
building up the fumes. Wait a minute. Now you have to you have to wash your hands. These porta potties don't have sinks, so you have to go to another place with a hose. Let's take a shower. You can't have 4,000 people taking porta showers. So you know a lot of them are not taking showers. Now they're getting diseased and sick. Now they're joining our workforce. They're going to
And
spread
the
disease.
kids going to the school systems. Don't forget
And right,
that too.
and remember, they're sleeping in the schools, so you're spreading disease in the schools. Like the fentanyl. Why did those little kids get fentanyl? The teachers didn't give them the fentanyl. What happened was fentanyl was sitting there, and a little bit went onto a blanket, and the kids don't even have to eat it. They just have to breathe it because they're so small and they die. And how did, by the way, how did that baby center get fentanyl? You know, it's a cover up for a drug dealer or somebody with a partner who's a drug dealer.
That was actually the premise of the movie Equalizer 3. Basically, the Camorra was bringing in fentanyl, and they were using.
I want to go see that movie.
You got to see it, and they were basically using a rival terrorist organization as a front, when they were actually bringing in the fentanyl within their own city. And I think with fentanyl, what you're saying, basically with these migrants, it's almost the same thing. It's basically all a cover
that's
in the
how
front.
it's coming in. You know that they're sleeping in rooms. They're sleeping in a warehouse. I was there. I wanted to take a picture, but I was told not to, where they had sheets separating people. Sheets, you put up a string and sheets. This is the way to live. This is what you're doing. Mr. Mayor, there's so many solutions. You know what the biggest company in the whole world is, Devoa? You're shaking your head. No. Really? You don't know, Tom?
General Electric?
No, Walmart.
Close
Do you
enough.
know Walmart has the most?
The Walton
they
family.
sell the most food, more than anybody, like 3 or 4 different companies. Walmart has over 1.5 or 4 million employees. Do you understand that this guy took a little store and he runs it and makes a profit?
And who had they had ties to? The Clintons. Don't
Okay.
forget, years ago.
So, but Walmart, maybe we should just fire everybody in the government and put Walmart in charge.
Well, in New York
they
City,
seem to
we
make
don't
a
have
profit.
Walmart. We
Right.
don't have a Walmart
We don't
in
have a
New York
Walmart. That's why New York City. And by the way, everybody in the United States lives within 15 minutes, I heard, from a Walmart.
Except New York City.
Really?
Except New York City.
Isn't there a Walmart in in Staten Island?
Nope. In New York City, this goes back years ago because I remember this. They wanted to put a Walmart. Actually, Bloomberg wanted to put a Walmart out where if you go on the Bell Parkway right before you go into Queens over there by Gateway,
right?
And the unions actually stopped it because.
But there is a big shopping center over there.
Yeah, I think BJ's is over there,
Yeah.
but Walmart itself in New York City because of how it treats union members or lack of union members. Yep.
But still, you just drive 20 minutes, half an hour out of New York, you'll find a Walmart.
Oh,
in 2
sure.
minutes. You go over the George Washington Bridge. You go.
But that's like New York City again. I remember Amazon. They blocked Amazon.
Yeah.
Walmart. They blocked jobs that would give people a chance.
Not
to
jobs, tens of thousands of jobs and more housing and more money coming in. They're doing something. I don't know what they want to do. Maybe you ever saw that movie Escape from New York?
Yes, it's funny you said that because I actually quoted that movie the other day. Yes.
And they want to make New York into a big prison sooner or later, or animals or whatever it is.
And Anthony Finkel says there is a Walmart in Queens, which I did not know that.
Yeah, I knew there was a J.C. Penney. That was my favorite store. I used to love J.C. Penney.
I was in J.C. Penney last week in the mall. I'll think about you next time when I go into J.C. Penney.
Good, call me. I like the suits.
You look like you need a new suit.
I just got one. I can't afford another one. The ties, And by the way, I gave my ties into the cleaners. I told you the $55.
Oh,
I
wow,
got
okay.
6 ties.
Okay.
And I've been, trying to keep them clean. I gave them 2 of them, and they didn't return them to me.
Why not?
I don't know. They lost them, and I said, "Are you crazy? Linda's gonna kill you."
Where's the laugh track for this, by the way? Because
Where's the laugh track? I don't know where the producer went. Where did the producer go? He left again.
I
Where
don't
did he
know.
go? Where did the producer go? I want to know where the producer is.
We may have a caller on the air.
We have a caller? Let's put the caller up. By the way, what's the phone number to call into the show?
646-974-1580. We have somebody here on
Hello,
the line.
who's the caller? Hello, caller.
Hello, Heshy, Tom. It's your buddy, Anthony.
Hey,
Finkel.
Anthony J. Finkel.
Hello, Anthony J. Finkel. I like that, Anthony J. Finkel.
And he's from Didmus Park, by the way. Not too far from here.
One of
Good
my
man.
boys.
A
Good.
man.
How are you, Anthony? Anthony, what's up, my
I'm
brother?
doing well. I wanted to chime in on the migrant situation.
Yes.
And just talk about a few things I've seen just this week alone. So I have my own business. I do building maintenance, construction, home improvement. I go to wholesale warehouses all the time to get supplies. This week I went to one of my warehouses, and inside the warehouse they have wholesale candy distributors, and I guess they sell it to, bodegas and stores and
Food carts.
alike.
Yeah, I seen them.
But inside there were a bunch of migrants, the ladies with the babies on their backpacks, buying these M&Ms wholesale before they go out. The thing about it that bothers me is, if you drive on any of these major avenues like Atlantic Avenue and Bed-Stuy or
Flatbush
around
Avenue.
Brooklyn,
Yep.
they have these babies in the middle of the highway, either on their back or sitting on a stool. And then I was thinking about it. All summer long, you're looking at it. These children, they're not in camp. They're not in summer school. They're not in any kind of sports programs. They're here trying to sell candy on the corner and not get hit by traffic.
Right. You
It's
saw
no
that?
way to
They
live.
stand
It's no way
on the
to
corner
live.
with their
And some of these
kids,
people
right,
wanna
on the
come
street.
here
Yeah.
to live in this quality of life.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I know.
Great call. Thank you for that, Anthony.
I know they came here to do the American dream, but there's no housing, no idea, no system. We have, again, if we would just take over First Avenue by the railroads in New York, over here, the warehouse.
Yeah.
There's
on the Gowanus. Yeah.
On the Gowanus. And Mr. Adams said he wanted to convert offices into apartments for regular homeless people. You convert those, there's thousands of open spaces. And I also spoke to a landlord that had 1,000 open apartments. You can put families, not 6 or 8 people in one. It's not normal to put people, even if you're single, you give him his own place. I know when I was single, I didn't want to have a roommate. I had a roommate, but after a while, I didn't want one when you get a little older and you get to have a few dollars. People don't want to live with other people. They want to be able to have freedom. They want to go to the shower. They want to be able to, I always had guests in the house. You know how careful you had to be that you had to wear your robe and your towels.
The early days of the Justin F. Heshy show.
And every once in a while, it slipped that I ran through the house or somebody saw me and it was like, oh my God, and you have to be careful from the children.
Sure.
And you have to have a robe. Did I leave the robe? Right now, I'm happy. I have no kids in the house. So me and Linda can do whatever we want, but we don't. We don't run around the house naked. We don't.
There's a point
I want to, but Linda says no.
But going back to what Anthony...
Devorah, what do you think about that? Say something. No, you don't want me to run around naked? She said I shouldn't run around
Heshy, I want to get to a couple comments in a second, but, I want to piggyback off what Anthony Finkel said because he's right on the money. Because if you think about these migrants, right, the kids with the backpacks going into these wholesale distributors, and these people are doing what they're doing. Well, what about the working class people here in this city, we're doing everything bend over backwards for these people. But the working class, with everything that's gone up here in this city, with the taxes you spoke about, the fees on business owners, all the mandates and everything else that's going on, the lack of support for the police, everything else that's going on, Heshy, nobody really is speaking up for the little guy.
I
think
know,
that's really
I know.
what his general point was, that he's a businessman. He goes out every day. I know Anthony Finkel a long time. I want to give him a big shout. He's one of my closest friends for almost 10 years.
But I know.
And this guy goes out at 5 o'clock in the morning, like you. He goes out there and tries to put a roof over his head,
Right.
food on the table, and this is what he sees as a businessman. This is why people
Yeah.
want to give up on this city. This is why people want to leave,
But
because
we
they know.
can't leave. Where you going? You're going to go to
But they
Jersey.
look-
Jersey has the same kind of
It's not
somewhat
as
issue.
bad, though,
I
in
know.
Jersey.
You see what you just said? Not as bad. What does that mean, not as bad?
You know what I mean?
You can't take away my amendment. You can't take away my freedoms. Today they told me, well, the building department, the police have to show you their badge and have to tell you their name. But another officer from another department that shows his badge, so you have to be shaky
Sure.
and careful, which also are allowed to obtain warrants. The second you are a public servant, the second you have a badge, you must identify yourself. And if not, you can't just show your badge. It is the law. It is the law. These guys are getting away and they're scaring you and you're shaking your pants. I don't know what
And
I'm telling
Sam
you.
Udis says, somebody you met last week at Floyd Bennett Field says, we need Curtis for mayor. We need you in the city council. Curtis for mayor.
The problem with Curtis is
I
that
know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
no, I'm not telling you anything. I'm just telling you that the Republican Party does not back him, does
Yes.
not help him out. The same way the Republican
I was
Party
gonna
went
say the same
against
thing.
me. I mean, and I'm hoping we change that leadership. There's a vote coming up. I hope we change that leadership, and I'm hoping the new leader becomes good. And I'm a county committee member.
Yes.
now.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
going to vote anybody but Ted Gora, crooked criminal and
Well,
bad man.
we'll
Somebody
see.
told me today, Dove Hyken's a good guy. I like Dove Hyken, but here's my problem with Dove Hyken. He actually supported the Democrat against me. The guy gave him no money. I gave Dove Hyken money for his show. I gave money for his Israel program. I was there for him all the time. And all of a sudden now he's supporting a guy who screwed him, who screwed his son.
Years ago, yep. When you ran that race in 2017. Yep.
You see, this doesn't make sense to me. There is no honor. I was doing an interview with a lady reporter. She says, "What is your legacy, Heshy? What do you want to be known as the thing that you did?" I'll tell you what. I don't want to be known for anything. I do a lot of good during the day, like many others. I want to be known for my honor. That I was an honor. Right now this week, my lawyer called me that I didn't want to tell any of you. There was an investigation on me. The district attorney was investigating me. This is a fact. I don't care if I get in trouble on it. Oh. They were investigating on a video that I took about somebody who did some sexual harassment to somebody. And I made a video. I spoke to the lady. And I blocked out her face. And nobody knew who he was. They were investigating to find out who this lady was. Of course, I would never tell my sources. And of course, they know I would go to jail. They were investigating. They were trying to find out. I don't know if it was against me. I don't know if it was against Carmen Yeager. I don't know what it was. All I know is there was an investigation for what? On a video that I never posted. On a video that I kept confidential. There's no way they could have known about this video unless somebody who I showed it to them, which I didn't really give it to them. They didn't even know, and unless they're listening in on my calls, which is a fact. Well, it's a fact. They are taping. I'm telling you, I'm being bugged. Yeah. There's no way that they're not knowing what I do. I know I let everything get known. I videotape everything, but I do have quiet. That's why I'm so happy I don't want to run my house naked because.
But you know what? I'll tell you,
I'll
tell you what you will be known for, regardless of all that stuff. And I hope it obviously sorts itself out. The one thing that I think you will be remembered for, regardless of what happens on November 7th, is that you were the man that fought harder than anybody else when it came to personal freedom. There was nobody. I think there was nobody in this city that fought harder for people to have their liberty and freedom, and I think that's what's being lost here. And
I should use that. That's great. I did fight. I kept wedding halls open, not because I needed.
You
the
took
weddings.
that chain cutter when opened
but forget
up all
the
those
parks. I did it for the chain cutter and the parks.
The businesses you
for the
spoke of
businesses,
before,
the weddings that I let them have, the restaurants that we kept open and we helped with their fines. You have a right to be free to do as you please. This is the greatest country in the world. And, we're throwing away money. All that money, we gave, what was it? What are we holding now with Ukraine? 114, 120 billion.
I was speaking with somebody that came on your show a few months ago, and he spoke specifically about that. He said, Tom, with all the problem with all these local politicians, I know you mentioned the Republican Party and different things about that with the leadership, and I have an opinion on that, but I'll talk about it off the air. But the fact of the matter is that if you took the money from Ukraine instead and put it in better ways for the people and this city locally, we wouldn't have the problems that we have. That's what it comes down to.
I agree. I mean, you throw away the money. You don't have enough money for the migrants. Instead of giving it to Ukraine, $114 billion, we can take care of all your 100,000
That's
migrants.
it. And that was basically the nook of the conversation.
We have another call. Let's take the caller. Caller, let's put him through. It's too buzzy. Why do you buzz me? Hello, caller. How are you? Who's calling?
This is James in Brooklyn.
How you doing, James?
Hello, James. How are you?
Well, I was like, I kind of tuned in late to your conversation, but I caught what you're saying about the migrants. You know, what can we possibly do to help them? We can hardly help ourselves.
Yep.
Right?
My own thoughts about it is that they've come from places in the world where they're not making a life for themselves because their societies are organized in such a way that they're supporting the lifestyle of the rich and famous who anymore tend to be drug gangsters or political henchmen and people like that, you know, making it hard for people to just like earn a living or whatever.
We understand, James.
Like the whole,
James,
society.
James,
We're organized. It's
James.
like some people think of themselves that they're pursuing a life or a lifestyle. Maybe some of them suppose they're enjoying it. But really, what is it all based on? It's like we're more and more we're the majority are sort of asking themselves questions, but we can't see that all this science, you know, who can make sense of all this science to take a real side on the issues, you know?
I know, James. And you know what? Third world, thanks for the call, James. Third world countries, we know that's why we call them third world countries.
Absolutely.
And we understand that their land, a lot of abuse, and that's why America is so great. But when they do come here, and when they do enjoy our freedoms, they have to join the team. And they can't just take and take and take. I understand in the beginning.
I think they're overstepping.
And I understand in the beginning we have to give them a break. Like, you come to the country, we should give you something. But we're not prepared for it.
But I think also the issue is, what about the people here? What about our veterans?
Yeah, what about our veterans?
What about them?
What about
care
the
of them?
disabled that we don't
Yes.
care about? The seniors.
Special needs.
The special needs. We have so many people that we're dumping on the side. And the lobbyists. You know, we have a lobbyist here.
The one,
I like this
one
guy.
in Staten Island. Listen, the homeless shelter, the migrant center that they're building on Midland Beach, that was a senior center that was housed for people that were basically low to middle income, and they're basically being thrown out because Adams is dumping these migrants here in another area that has nowhere near anything.
It's
but
terrible.
This is all the city wants to do, and then they want work permits, which is going to do nothing. The migrant numbers are only going to continue to increase.
And what do you think the migrant job is going to be? They're going to work $10, $12 an hour in restaurants, making your food disgusting and sick since they don't have showers. So excellent, good for you. I don't think I'm even going to go again anymore. I want to finish with the migrants. I understand that we're lost. I have solutions. We need somebody. What I've been tell you all along is our politicians are idiots. They're not qualified to be there. We need a guy like Walmart. We need people who are experienced. There's one or two people in the city council that knows, but most of them want to just pass their legislation, want to create a bill.
They just want to get reelected. They just want to
make more money and more money and keep their friends and staff. You know, we just had now a building department inspector arrested.
Yes.
His name is Eric Ulrich.
A Republican councilman, by the way. A Republican
I know, I'm ashamed,
councilman.
but here's the deal.
Yeah.
He took bribes, he took apartments, and he did his gambling thing. Well, maybe he didn't do it, whatever, but he got benefits.
And this was a guy that ran for public advocate and took over $500,000 of the city's taxpayer funds. And people like the Republican chairman in Brooklyn told everybody to go vote and support this guy. He's a great guy.
That was Ted Gora, by the way,
Ted Gora
another
was the
crook.
biggest supporter of him.
And by the way,
the Staten Island chairman.
And by the way, I'm doing an investigation on Ted Gora, and I saw that there was a lot of missing money somewhere.
Wow.
A lot of missing money, and I don't want to make any accusations, but that's what I was told. But here's the best part of the deal. You think Eric Ulrich is the only one that should get in trouble? There's a lot of people in the private sector said, you know how hard I have to fight to get a building open, to build a building, to build a permit. A year. I have a guy now, they're knocking down his building because he still doesn't have his plans approved and he can't fix it. He did some emergency work. And you know what's happening? It's a year already that they haven't. He came to me and I came up with a solution for him. The city hinders you. The city wants to charge you. They're going to charge him $1 million to knock out his building when he can knock it down for less than $100,000 and he can fix it for less than $200,000. This is what the city is. Now,
It's
there's a
backwards.
lot of people on the other side of the coin, like a guy, Mark Kohler. You know who Mark Kohler is?
Yes,
He
I have heard
is
of
the
him,
son of Nachman Kohler, a district leader Republican, a lawyer, another crook, another man that I was friendly with. And then I find out that he gave Kalman Yeager signatures. Now, Kalman Yeager did not fulfill, when he filled out his campaign finance, I don't know how he got his signatures. Because he didn't pay anybody any money to collect them. It must have been Nachman Kahler and other people. And Kahler swore to me he didn't do it. Now I see that he's taking, his son is giving bribes. See, when I take forever to build a building, and I can't build as much because I'm having problems and I got to speed up, Mr. Kahler is able to make tens and hundreds of millions of dollars because his father and him are giving bribes so they get extra stuff. People are saying, why are you going after Kahler? I'm very simple. He's a nice guy.
And also,
you know what I mean?
just
Forget
wanna-
that he didn't give me a donation, but he told me straight out that he's not involved in any political or speaks to anybody into politics. Now I see he's a liar.
And also, while you are talking about that, I do want to say Lenny is here, and he just got back from another protest here on Staten Island because it was been obviously the talk is now the latest place is in Midland Beach.
But you know what? The cops, when they come to the protest, they
Yep.
push, and they push you back. But Black Lives Matter, they didn't do that.
Nope.
No. Here they're pushing and they're arresting and they're doing stuff. I can't read the signs.
646-974-1580. Give us a call because we're getting a lot of callers
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah.
so that's
646-974-1580.
Yep, give us a
I
call.
want to switch a little topics
All
because
right.
you know what? There's nothing we could do about it. Your city council, bottom line is letting the migrants come.
Yep.
They're spending our money.
Yep.
They have no money.
Yep.
So you know what? They're going to raise our taxes. They're
Yep.
going to raise our car fees. They're going to charge us more
Yep.
fines. I swear to you, I had a guy who came over to me. He says, Heshy, I got 3 camera tickets today.
I believe
said,
it.
it's not possible. You could. He says, yeah. I'm driving from 18th Avenue to Day Hill Road to Ocean Park where I was going 37, 35. They stop you, and you know sometimes a bus stops.
Yes.
So you're stuck. And he says, what? So I said, why did you go into the crosswalk? He says, come on, Heshy. The traffic is moving bumper to bumper. If I don't move from the yellow line, then the guy keeps cutting me off from
Yep.
the side street.
I saw that earlier this week.
Oh,
on
and ballpark
86th
is
Street.
like that.
Right,
So the
86th
red
Street,
light,
same thing.
right, and the red light camera goes off.
Yep.
And when they have these little traffic cops who push you along, they don't say there's a camera there. The camera doesn't stop when the traffic cops wave you through, and if you don't go through, you get a ticket. And of course, the crossing guards, they wave you through or they stop you. I'm driving today and I'm making a right turn off, and I like the crossing guard. Stop me.
And I think we
the
have a
bus,
caller coming on
And
here
the
while you
bus
talk
pulled
about that. So bring
behind
the
me.
caller on.
But one minute, the bus pulled behind me and took a picture of my car.
I think we know who the caller is.
Who's the caller? Let's see who's the caller.
I think we're gonna wind up. Well, I'm assuming it's the caller that.
But I
usually
wanted to
calls in.
talk about Biden first.
Well, I don't think we. I think we. Yeah, buzzer. I think it's Lenny. I think,
Who's calling?
Is Lenny on the line here? Nope.
Nobody's on the
Yeah,
line.
you hear me?
Oh, there's a different caller here. So
Who's calling?
caller? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, it's Alex from Brooklyn.
How you doing, Alex?
How you doing, Alex?
How you doing? I wanted to comment about the border situation because there was this baby that died at a daycare center here in New York a few days ago
Yeah.
from fentanyl,
Right. Yeah.
and we have now like over 100,000 people already died from fentanyl. And the thing that I find so ironic is that by COVID we had a pandemic, right? Then we shut down the entire country. In the beginning, it made sense. And then we kept the country and the border shut down for months and months, and the children who weren't really being affected, and most kids were doing fine with COVID. We shut down their schools. We didn't let them term effects, as well as, we had them wearing masks. And that was because we wanted to save lives. But now we have fentanyl that can kill millions of people, the amount that already came into this country, and we know it's coming through the border.
Right.
But we're saying, no, we're not going to shut it down because we feel bad for the migrants. I mean, are we supposed to sacrifice the lives of the American people, American children and adults for these migrants, even if we feel bad that they don't
Right.
have a good standard of living in Mexico?
I agree. And
Absolutely.
and fentanyl, thank you for the call.
Great
Fentanyl
call,
is
by the
so
way.
cheap.
Great
It's a great
call.
call. Fentanyl is so cheap. It's cheaper than cocaine. It's cheaper than heroin. But I want to ask you a question, Tom.
Yes, ask me.
And this guy is so smart. President Trump asked for $10 billion for the border wall, which he said he was going to get Mexico to be paid.
Yep.
Instead of giving him $10 billion, they gave Ukraine $114 or $140 billion for their border wall or their protection. Does that make sense? You're protecting another country, but you're not. Devorah, I mean, I want money for my wall around my house, but then we're not going to get it. We might as well give it to Ukraine. Well, let's just give them every single dollar
And
we make.
just while you do that, because I lost, unfortunately, our internet connection, I'm on my phone looking at Lenny's looking to call in, so I just want to give you
Okay, we're going to take Lenny's call. But I want you to know, we don't give President Biden $10 billion. We're going, by the way, we're going to shut down the government again. Again, they can't agree. Now, shutting down the government, does that make sense that the government shuts down and runs out of money? They had the entire summer, instead of working on this the entire summer, they were on vacation, they went to Hamptons, they were collecting money for their campaigns. But instead of working on the budget, something serious that we're paying these senators, what is it, 300, 400,000?
about 300,000.
It doesn't make a difference. We're paying them money. We're giving them stipends. They're traveling all over the world. They have a great life, offices, staff, everything.
Pension after 2 terms.
Right.
For Congress, senator, it's 1
Come on.
term.
So I want to ask you a question. They stop working. They don't take off a week in the summer. They take off the whole summer.
But I have an alternate theory on the government shutdown. My theory would be, which I know you probably won't agree with, I wouldn't mind if the government never met again. Because I think the more times the government meets, whether it's the city council,
No, I have no problem if the government doesn't meet. The government can run without them.
Right.
If the government went away, President Reagan once said if the government went away for 2-3 weeks, we wouldn't miss them.
And Lenny's
I don't miss the government.
I think the producer out there, Lenny's trying to call in, so let's put him on.
We're going to put him on in a minute. But I just want to tell you one thing. And we have 5 minutes. I'm going to put Lenny on the phone.
Okay, cool.
I wanted to ask you about, I want Lenny to cut in this. Mr. Biden, are we really going to have impeachment? Right now they're setting up some kind of a committee for impeachment.
We spoke about it last week on the
So
show,
now, and they're actually putting it into effect. Do you actually think they're going to bring him to impeachment? Do you think they'll bring it to the Congress and the Senate?
I think that the Congress, certainly they will try to, because I think that McCarthy wants to keep his spot as Speaker of the House. So that's basically why I think in his heart, I hate to say, he doesn't want to do it, but I think that he has to do it. So yeah, I don't know if it'll go to the Senate, but I certainly think to Congress, yeah, they're gonna go through this process. I mean, and I think that the American people should see this, because I think that Biden, there's a lot of things that have gone on and we need to know about it. So.
Okay, so my point to you is we saw what I mean. It's a waste of time to impeach the
I think the producer wants us to take Lenny's call.
We're going to take his call in a minute.
Please.
In a minute. Well, my question to you is: you saw we spent $30-40 million on this stupid impeachment. Then the investigations, the special counsel, people being arrested, people being imprisoned, and then being pardoned. You wasted the entire country's time, and you made us all nervous. I mean, Republicans, didn't you learn anything? Just leave it alone.
No, they didn't. And just like
what are you going to get Hunter Biden on tax evasion? Really? That's what you're going after him on? He didn't kill, he didn't murder. You're letting cashless bail. In Chicago, I think Illinois, the entire state now became cashless bail.
Yes.
The entire state, murder, beeping, robber. I don't know if murder, but anything you can do in Chicago, you'll be out in 24 hours. Anyways, let's talk to Lenny. Maybe Lenny will let me off on cashless bail. Lenny.
Yes.
The entire state of Illinois, not city of Chicago, is now cashless bail. What? Nothing we could do. The whole country is going to be that way. You know that, right?
Hello.
Yeah, Lenny.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Are you out of?
You're live. Talk
Yeah.
to us.
Are you out of breath, Lenny, because you were at the protest and you were running?
No, I'm disgusted. I came from the protest. They used a drone on us.
Wow.
Which they wouldn't use on the Eastern Day, West Indian Day parade, where 7 people were either shot or stabbed.
Right.
So in Staten Island,
I forgot about that.
They used the drone on us. Last night, it was in the newspaper or something that they got approval for the migrants on Father Capitano Boulevard, Midland.
1111 Father Capitano Boulevard.
On the darkness of the nighttime, they brought in the buses. 10 people were arrested. They were blocking the buses. Tonight, there was about 300 protesters there. I'm being conservative. There might have been more. Last night, you didn't have the main speakers, Curtis, Scott Lebedo, John Tobacco, and it was a little out of control. Tonight, it was very well organized. He's going to destroy this island because we're Republicans.
He's doing it everywhere. Floyd Bennett Field. Listen, Floyd, there's a lawsuit out
Yeah,
there.
he's destroying Brooklyn. He's destroyed Manhattan completely. I just had a guy now who got a fine for having a restaurant, and they vacated his restaurant for building this little shed in front of it. That's what they're busy with. The cops are running around stopping.
But Adam said it in his own words. He
Right.
said that the city's going to hell.
Right,
That's
he
what
doesn't care.
said.
And I want you to know something else. I want you to know something else, Lenny. 1 minute. Shut him off. Hello? Shut him off. I just want Lenny. 1 second, Lenny. We're talking. You got to let us talk, Lenny. You got to let us mix in. My point being is you can't attack people. You can't go after stupid arrests when you should be looking after crime, robbery, murder, cars. You can't do that. Instead, you're busy pushing around people who protest properly. I mean, you should have seen the cops. There was at least 100 cops there. I mean, if they try to bring back masks in Borough Park, there's going to be a protest here like you've never seen before. I'm not going to show up. And when they start hurting those children, and they will to hurt them, we will come after them. So I'm telling you now, Mr. Mayor, I'm not warning you. I'm not threatening you. I'm not threatening the cops. I'm just giving you a public service announcement. You heard our people. I'm not going to let you get away with it. Somebody gets, God forbid, somebody dies, and it's, if they're, God forbid, close to me, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. I don't know how I'm going to come after you. For sure, I'm going to come after you legally. What? Legally. But the point is it legally is not enough, because I'm warning them that they are going to hurt people. They're going to kill somebody by putting these mandates back. So you're looking to cause trouble. You have the medicines. You said you have the vaccine, so people will take them.
They just pushed the goalposts,
Right.
and you said this 2 years ago.
And she said they're bringing in more vaccines. That's a lot more money. We don't have to pay for them, but there's a lot more money.
Big Pharma. It goes back to Big Pharma.
It goes back, and they made billions and billions of dollars.
All right, I think he
Go
wants
ahead.
to come in.
Yeah, go ahead, Lenny. Lenny, you got to give us a break. You got to take a breather sometimes and let me answer. So, but Lenny, Staten Island is not the only island. You're talking all 5 boroughs. They're coming after us.
Well, I think he's got it extra hard for us because basically Staten Island, you know it, is a Republican stronghold. And I think he's got it in for us. I'm not taking away anything from Creedmoor. I'm not taking away anything from Floyd Bennett. But now he wants to put them in Great Kills Park. Are you out of your mind?
He's going to do it. Listen, he's protesting.
The producer just came in. He took a break. Did you take a break, producer? Did you have a good time? You're not getting paid for the day, by the way. He walks out for the entire show, and now he comes back. I mean, who needs a producer if he's not here? But Lenny.
There we go.
Okay, finally we get a. He didn't put the laugh track on my. Lenny, let me just tell you plain and simple before we let the audience go. It is.
I can't hear you, Heshy.
I don't know why you can't hear me, because our mics are supposedly working. It's supposed to be loud, but can you hear me now, Lenny?
A little better, yes.
Okay, but I want to just tell you something. Mr. Mayor got millions and millions of dollars from a lot of Jewish and Gentile developers. He is very careful with the big organizations. He is owned by them, but again, he will flip on the little ones. That means he'll stay away from certain ones, and all the little Jewish people that really make up the community, he's going to come after us, because if you take it, like, it's very smart. Take about $1,300,000 and you get $300 million instead of going after a big guy and trying to get only $10 million out of him. It's better to collect small. I do a lot of small jobs quickly, and I make more money that way instead of taking on a big job that lasts for a year or so. I mean, it depends on what you do. My point is the mayor is owned and paid for by real estate. Yep. The mayor is owned and paid for, and he knows how to control the DOB and where to send them. I mean, I'm telling you, I have an inspector on video that said to us, "I'm coming back every day till I get you." What does that mean, Lenny? And why are the cops standing out there? Don't tell me the cops are listening to them.
Here's another question for you. I heard the city council is pushing to change the retirees' health plan. Now, I'm not talking about only police. I'm talking about firemen, EMS, anybody that worked for the city. He's only going to get $600 million if he changes us to Aetna. But the thing is, he'll blow that $600 million in 2 weeks on the migrants. Absolutely. So what are we getting? It's like You're stopping the floodgate. Remember the guy with the little Dutch boy with the finger in the dike?
Yeah.
You're not going to stop it. It's crazy.
The man does. Everybody
It's
thinks
affecting
that
services in the
I know,
city of
I know.
New York.
We're gonna say
And
goodbye,
this man thinks there's going to be enough.
Lenny, we're going to say goodbye to a lot of the people. Thank you for the listeners.
On 620 AM, 1640 WJPR 93.5 FM. Thank you for tuning
I want to
in.
wish you a great weekend. I want to wish
And
you a
happy
happy
Yom
New
Kippur.
Year.
Happy
And
Yom
of
Kippur.
course, have a good Yom Kippur to all my Jewish listeners. And we'll be back next week, Wednesday, and seeing how everybody survived. Lenny, now you can go on before they got off the air. I just want you to know, Lenny, that this city, you put in a mayor, sure he was popular, sure he was a good captain, maybe, which we say he's not.
No.
But the man does
No,
not
he
know.
wasn't.
You have to put a man in charge like Bloomberg that was a mayor that knew how to run a business.
He was a manager.
Right,
He was a
that's what
manager of
we
the
don't
city.
need the city involved in our personal lives. We need them to manage the budget and the money and to help
But the
bring
days
in
of
revenue.
Bloomberg and Giuliani are over. We're getting
Well,
bureaucrats-
Listen to me.
Giuliani's going to jail.
This is only my opinion.
Yep.
I believe he's a racist, and I believe
Yeah.
he came in with a score to settle. He's basically taken over the New York City Police Department. He's fired all white chiefs with the exception of one. She was a female black chief, and she stood up for the previous commissioner, Sewell. So that was just collateral damage. He came back with a vengeance. People have to realize this mayor is a racist. And he's doing whatever
He's
he
not a
wants to
racist.
do.
He's a loser.
Hiring people,
He's an idiot.
whoever he wants to hire, and nobody's saying anything.
And Lenny,
I say go.
And Lenny, he allows his employees and government organizations, even though he says cut them across the board, he allows them the free hand to do as they please. I mean, there's no control of them. And even though Eric Aldrich was arrested for bribery, he did try to change the building department. He did want it open that you can come talk to a commissioner, you can come talk to a chief, and if you had a problem, you can email him and he would reply. These guys today in charge are scared of their shadows, and they just say no.
they wanna keep their job.
They want to keep their
They
jobs.
wanna keep their
And that's it.
job.
They make 60, 80 grand a year. Even the cops. You know what I'm angry with the cops? Because the cops are so scared to lose their
And
jobs.
we want to thank Lenny. Obviously, we're getting close to the end. One more
They're
thing. Lenny, you
scared
wanna
to
say?
lose their job. Did you hear what happened with the first grade detective? He made an assistant police commissioner. Does somebody want to tell me what that is?
Yeah. You know, and all his little friends are getting promoted left and right. Whoever kisses his behind, they move up. They're only in the force for 10 or 12 years.
And we want to thank Lenny, by the way, as we're coming close to the end of the show. So, Lenny, we're going to obviously say goodbye. We're going to see you next week. Try to call in early. I know you've been out there with those protests, but
Right,
definitely please
Lenny.
call in.
And stay
earlier.
safe, Lenny. Don't let them hurt you. And again, this is what they're doing. They have drones. They have their guns. They have their tasers.
But it's just like what you
Just
said
be
look,
careful.
on the buildings. That listen, everybody that works on behalf of the city serves at the behest of the mayor. So it's like the presidency. You're serving in that cabinet. You do what the policies of the mayor wants.
But you're not. You're supposed to be following the laws.
But this mayor has not done it that way. He wants everybody in there to enact his agenda. It's simple as that. So it doesn't matter what organization or agency in the city. That's what we're getting.
Just
That's why this
the
is
same way,
important.
there are secret memos in the New York courts that they refuse to give up. Secret memos. The New York focus. There's a bunch of lawyers that are trying to get memos where there are secret instructions used to guide judges' decisions. You can't do that. You can't. There are civil rights lawyers that are suing to make these memos public. But how do you have a right to send a memo to make a judge decide which way to rule? This is what they're doing. Judges are so scared for their stupid little jobs. I mean, DeVoe, you're a lawyer. Do you believe that the judges are being forced to rule in a particular way?
I don't know.
You don't know. You're scared. All I know is that I'm now in a custody battle.
Come on, it's all political.
Oh, it's not. But you can't be political. A judge is not supposed to be political. A judge is supposed to be what? What?
Independent.
Not even independent. He's not supposed
Review both sides and come up with
impartial.
An impartial
Supposed
decision.
to be. You know, I'm right now in court with a child custody battle, and somebody tells me that, and the other side says children do not have to see their grandparents except for once a month for 30 minutes. I said, are you crazy? And the judges actually believe that sometimes. Grandparents do not count.
And also,
even if you lose the child, the stepchildren or the adoptive parents or the foster parents have a right to refuse the grandparents. Remember, visitation rights don't go to grandparents.
But there's an important point that we should talk about on next week's show, only because Lenny brought it up. In Pennsylvania now, all you need is a driver's license to vote. There was a law that was passed and signed by the governor.
Really?
We're going to talk about that on next week's show because we're close to the end of the show.
Wow, you believe it? All you need is a driver's license to vote.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm very upset, everybody.
But that's
we
when
have
we go to
so much to do.
Heshy.com, 5318
Heshy.com, but
corner of 54th Street. Stop by the office. Heshy's out there.
We're going to be
voters.
needing.
We're going to win this race, so we need your help and
Right,
support.
come out to vote, and don't forget November 7th, babies.
We're getting there.
And come volunteer. We could use 50, 60, 70 people to watch them.
And Heshy's helping a lot of constituents. I know the last few days I've heard through the grapevine, Heshy is personally helping constituents on issues. So come on down, stop by this office. We need you, and I want to thank